So my name is Merlin. Today I'm going to talk about what I learned today. I didn't learn that much today, but I learned something. Um, so so I did. So actually, I started learning the Rust language because I was trying to learn operating system, and it's saying that I have to learn C, but I think learning language is kind of hard. It takes a lot of times to master it, and why don't I learn the language that I can use in real production, in my job or so. I'm a web developer, so C is not gonna be work, but the Rust will be gonna be work because in the JavaScript environment, there's a lot of things goes with the Rust. Example, Webpack or something like that, like other things. So yeah, I start learning. I was like, let's see, learn Rust, and let's learn how to make operating system like Pintos thing, and let's use Rust to build Pintos like small operating system. So my goal is this, but first I have to learn Rust first. So most interesting thing I learned was it was really like I like there's a concept that I learned from the JavaScript while working on the front end developer, and it it or and it, you and I was really surprised that it is also valid in the Rust language. So example, there's like mutability in the JavaScript, right? So like mutability and immutability, and mutable is that things change, but immutability that things won't change, and and we really use this concept for our rect hook was state whatever. So I was like, yeah, think, but I was like, it was not gonna be used in some kind of other language, but it used. So example, if you look at this code, it used mutability. So which means that this gas will be the value could change. Yeah, a value could change of it. It used pointer uh to to get the reference of it. So it's just simple. And the other thing I learned was there's like npm in the JavaScript, right? In the Node package manager, and in the Rust there's a Rust package manager, and which is cargo. And most interesting thing is that like there's so many similarity. Like Toml is like node package JSON, and this like package is not log JSON. So that is really similar. So if you but the difference is when you're trying to install some kind of packages, some kind of dependency in your node, you can just run npm install like some kind of package with a version, right? But in the Rust, it wasn't. You can just copy paste the version of it, but the things have to be uh, installing the dependencies. So like this. So so that is really interesting. And more interesting part was, and uh, Rust is compiled language rather than JavaScript is so interpreting language. So just JavaScript, it just like there's a code of it. I think I'm just gonna show you interpreter versus compiler. So if you look at this image, so this so compiler is source code and compile it into machine code and run it. So there can be output. But in the interpreter, there's source code and just interpret it into output. So there is no like kind of binary format if you run JavaScript, but this Rust, if you run main.js, yeah, like cargo cargo run. So it just creates the main, which is binary, just like binary format. So that is kind of interesting, and there was very interesting. And more interesting is, I think not here. Let's see it. Yeah, here. I was like, and also the reason of the why we name main file or main function is kind of convention, but the thing is that it it it's always needs to be specifying the starting point of the program, and also it run in the main thread. So, and like other thing I already talk about this, and also cargo run is just like npm run start, npm run build, and npm run start. So that's like, so cargo run also do the building thing and also run thing. So that is really amazing. That is like, I was like, ooh, this is kind of modern language, and and yeah. So moreover, I thought it was really hard because JavaScript is dynamic language. You don't specify some kind of uh, heavy type of it, but like Rust, and I thought it was gonna be hard to like specifying some kind of like putting in the type of it, but it was not. I thought, and also it was because JavaScript there's no kind of specifying reference, right? There's no specifying pointer, and I thought it was, I was kind of afraid that what if I face problem of understanding like reference thing, pointer, but in the Rust it was like same thing. So just references pointing to the same memory address. So there was no difficulty of it. So and and most important thing is that I kind of dig deeply when I learned JavaScript, and I thought it just gonna be valid in the JavaScript, but it was not. Like there's a core concept of if you're trying to learn some kind of language, and if you're trying to move into learn about new language, the core concept is kind of duplicated. It is being used like interpreter or compiler, like package.manager or something like that, and mutability, let, const, like that, and reference also. So there, and that was really interesting. Also, I read the PPT. Sorry, I read about like here operating system program like presentation, and I think to learn about operating system, I think I have to learn about some kind of like computer structure. Yes, computer structure. Yeah, and it was saying that because this is Berkeley's presentation and I installed it, and it just saying about like hardware stuff like ISA instruction set architecture, and that is like what they learn in machine structures course, and also, but the thing is that I'm not student in the Berkeley, so I don't know what the fuck is machine structures and C course. So I think I'm just gonna learn this first. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually what I learned today. I slept late yesterday, so I was not able to study early. So but tomorrow will be gonna be different. So yeah. Bye bye.